Hello, everyone. How are we keeping? Hope all is well. Happy Saturday. Happy August, may I say, too. Would you believe it's the 2nd of August? Just think about that for a second, because we're near Halloween. And then, obviously, Halloween, and after that is Christmas. So it's quite insane to really sit down and think about it. But, we're pretty much nearly finished the year already, which shouldn't really be the case in any, because the year just flew. Like, I don't know where the time goes. Give me a moment, because days just fly by, and you lose track of time. It's a scary thing, I suppose, too, that time just flies. It is a scary enough thing. Just give me a second, 'cause I was having an issue just starting the stream. So give me a moment just to sort this out, because it might be duplicated in terms of when I was scheduling the stream just about 10 minutes ago. Yeah, so it is duplicated. Just give me a moment. That should be it. We should be fine. Yeah, we should be all good in the hood. Yeah, I think that's good. Hello there, everyone. Good evening. How are we doing? Forge, right? The protest in Galway. I presume that's where he is. I presume I didn't see his channel. I know there's protests in Galway, so I presume that's where he is. Yeah, I'm right in that. Yeah, a lot of people who will be watching that. The protest in Galway. It's probably not a good time to be live at, but it's a bit earlier than we usually would be. It'd be 6 o'clock or so by the time usually sometimes we'd be live. See, sorry, there's a load of things happening. See, when I'm not live, I wasn't live Wednesday. A good bit's going on. Housework, but listening, yeah, no bother. There probably won't be many people here because I didn't literally put it up that I was going to go live today, first of all. I probably should have done that, but my phone's having a mental breakdown. We'll get started in a few minutes, like talk about different subjects. It's just the usual thing when we start. We'll just give it a few minutes for notifications and stuff to work. Let's see. That might be a bit too loud, too. It's hard to know the volume of stuff. It's hard to know if it's a bit too loud or if it's just fine. Because I remember one time I was live and somebody was not happy with the volume. Seems to be a good few people. Just looking at the Galway protest there. I was watching a bit of it earlier on. It seems to be good a few people at it. Police officer dragged by moving car, injured in County Down, County Tyrone. So we get started. I mean, obviously, the main thing we'll probably be talking about is about the attack. Where was it? Was on Tuesday in Dublin City. I'm sure everybody's heard about and sick of it by now, listening to it. But basically, a man came from behind it because there's a video after released by Grep Media. Oh, but what was the context? Like, was somebody just filming and he wasn't happy, or what was the story? Or was he a counter protest or something? But sure, look at I suppose it's a free country. I suppose he can do it if he wants to do it. I suppose. As long as he didn't hit anybody, that's the main thing, I suppose. A counter protest. So obviously they would be a bit wired up and stuff. I was just thought it was some random person in the middle of the street just getting upset over somebody filming them or something like that. I didn't see that bit. I'll probably see it later on. It'll be probably on Twitter later on. Take my glass milk, but yeah. So we get started anyway. So we all know about the guard being stabbed. I think he was stabbed, but his vest protected him, thankfully. So the fellow came up from behind. There was a video released by Grep Media. I don't know how the person was recording, what they were recording, but there was a woman and a man recording a phone behind where the stabbing was happening. I don't know why they were recording beforehand, but that still hasn't been explained yet. But then the man came up, the fellow. He's a foreign name. It's not like Jack or John or something like that. He's a Pakistani heritage. He came up behind and said Allahu Akbar pretty much and stabbed the guard in like around the back here. But obviously his stab-proof vest and stuff was on. Very thick vest, or what you would call it. But yeah, stabbed him from behind. So not much has been said about that. It's that. So it is worrying. But we don't know was he known to the Gardaí before, or what was the story? Why did he do it? I suppose in the first place too. It seems like it was some terrorist motivated, because particularly what he shouted beforehand. But then again, he could have been wanted for a different crime and thought the guards were after him. Who knows why he done what he did? But I suppose in the way too, it was better that he stabbed a member from Garda Síochána. And I know that sounds terrible, but compared to stabbing just an ordinary member of the public that wasn't able to defend themselves, because the guards obviously have batons and pepper spray, and compared to stabbing the child, take for example, outside the school. I know that sounds awful. Nobody should be getting stabbed, but it's better for somebody that's able to has a baton and pepper spray than stabbing a child at 5 years old. I know that might sound a bit mean, but that's what I take as, because it would have been a lot worse if he stabbed the child, take for example, God forbid, some innocent member of the public just walking down the street. But a lot of people are saying about the stabbing, because it is weird when you do look at the video. I know sometimes when things happen, you kind of freeze and stuff. You don't know what to do, but it's weird. The people that were recording the guard being stabbed from behind, you think they would have ran as soon as they seen your man running at them with a knife. That bit is weird to me too, because I'm sure if somebody's seen a knife, if somebody trying to stab a guard with a knife or something like that, you wouldn't kind of stand around waiting for something to happen. You would kind of get out of there. But and then obviously a member of the public too stepped in too to take, I think it was the knife of the suspect, something like that. We still don't know who was that member of the public. We still don't know anything about it, pretty much. It's kind of a media silence. But I don't think it was staged. I know a lot of people are saying that online at the moment. I don't think it was. Because I don't know why they would stage it, first of all. Because they're nothing to, the state of the Gaudi had nothing to gain by staging it. The only thing I can think they would try if they did stage it, but I don't think they did. It looks real enough to me. But some people are saying it, that they wanted to bring this pretty much for this to happen. Like you often hear the saying problem, reaction, solution. The state creates a problem, then the solution is, we bring in the hate speech bill because people are thinking too much, because it's all about the problem. You create a problem, then you can get a solution and stuff. But I don't think it's one of them occasions. Maybe it is, but I don't think so. From the evidence I have at hand, there's not really anything to suggest that it was staged and stuff like that. Like the video too is very peculiar, but apart from that, there's nothing really to my recollection, I suppose, that suggests it's staged, if that makes any sense. But hopefully the gal that got stabbed is doing okay. But it's weird because, again, we don't know much about the suspect in question who done this. Why did he do it? What was his intention? We still don't know any of that. We don't know his criminal background. We don't know how. We don't know really anything, pretty much. We know his name. We don't know much more about him, I suppose. So it is weird, let's put it out, in that regard. Because usually, especially because it's not like just after happening today, this is Tuesday gone by, you think we would have a bit more information, even if it's just a small bit more. But yeah, there's not really much more I have to say because we don't really know much more. There's no point speculating, saying, "Oh, this could have been it. That he done this because of that. He done this because of the other." There's no point speculating about it, I suppose. Give me a moment. So there's obviously 109 million other things we can talk about, quite literally. Let me see where I am now. So there was a report yesterday in the Irish media. This is to do with the roads policing unit on Garda Síochána. Pretty much, they told us what we already know, that the Gardaí, the roads policing units and stuff, and probably the whole on Garda Síochána, let's be fair, they just couldn't be bothered to do their job, pretty much. That's literally the thing. And I wouldn't mind, but these people literally had somebody there looking to see what they're doing and stuff like that. And the Gardaí didn't give a shit. Like the roads policing unit and stuff, it's insane. But it just goes to show the Gardaí just don't give a shit to do their job. It's the same in Cavan. I said it before, that the Gardaí are hiding in the guards' barracks. They don't want to do they're afraid to do any work. And that's the simple reason why they just couldn't be bothered. They're too lazy nowadays, the Gardaí, to do any work. So you wonder why there's deaths on the road and stuff, particularly the roads policing unit. It's very important, of course, to try and catch drug drivers and people on drugs and people, take for example, uninsured drivers and stuff. Because the roads have to be safe. Because there's been far too many occasions where innocent members of the public, just going about their business, was killed by some drug idiot, or somebody who was high on drugs, or somebody that was uninsured. You get what I'm saying? Hello, Brian. Yeah, I seen that. That's a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was a few weeks ago. Yeah, the war, giddy and stuff like that. But I suppose they don't know. If they knew what my hole was like, they wouldn't be at that. But yeah, there's no surprise there. I'm sure everybody would agree in that. There's no surprise that we already knew the Gardaí don't give a shit about doing their job. And especially because there was people like inspectors, I suppose, there, and the Gardaí pretty much said to them, "We don't give a shit." Pretty much, a lot of the cases they don't care, which shouldn't really be the case. Because if you have Gardaí that just couldn't be bothered to enforce the law, then what's the hope of something Gardaí in the corner? But don't worry, if you commit hate speech or a thought crime, the Gardaí be very quick. And if you misgender somebody, the Gardaí care about that. But if you're committing only crime, knife crime and uninsured driver, the good of the uninsured drivers, they get them. But they did not bother to deal with drug drivers or people on drugs and stuff. That's hard work. They don't want to do that. You see it all the time in the Gardaí's Facebook pages and stuff. They're going after young people, young Irish people that get their first car that don't have insurance or something minor like that. But when somebody literally is going around with knives and stuff like that, the Gardaí don't want to know about it. Hello, Aaron. The Air Show's on. I've seen that earlier on. Cap up on my channel. We don't want that. But yeah, there's a lot to say about the Finnish government at the moment because they're all kind of blowing themselves up as usual. We get into that later on. That's another big discussion. So I just want to go back to immigration and stuff for a second. So this was talked about a few weeks ago, that the European Court of Justice in Brussels, pretty much. So it was brought to the High Court in Dublin. Hello, Sean. Good evening. How are we doing? That it was to do with asylum seekers, asylum seekers' rights in terms of they get the right to have basic accommodation, basic needs. And the Irish justice system basically said, no, they're not really entitled to the basic needs. But the European Court of Justice has basically overruled the government's claim that the asylum seekers are not entitled to the basic supplies in terms of accommodation or whatever. So the European Court of Justice has basically said that the Irish government should be given more to asylum seekers, should be giving them everything, pretty much. Which is lovely. I'm sure you agree. Which is, and again, we don't have to listen to them because they're in a foreign land. We don't really have to listen to them. We can just ignore them if we wanted to. But the government obviously going to listen to the European Union. There's no doubt about it. So yeah, that's another thing. But we see how that goes. But the thing about it is, and everybody's saying it, like you've already given the moon, earth, and stars to asylum seekers in terms of giving them everything, quite literally. You can't really give them much more. Like, let's be fair. Like, what do they suggest? I suppose the European Court of Justice. Like, the country has literally turned itself upside down to accommodate these people. What I mean by turning it upside down, like literally, there's been heaven and earth moved to house these people and to give them social welfare, everything under the sun. So how much more do you want, pretty much? And when do you say no more? That's the next thing. But we see how that plays out in the next few months. How are we all keeping anyway? I hope everybody's having a good Saturday, good bank holiday weekend too. Imagine it's already we're already in August, so imagine that. Yes, there's a storm coming Monday apparently. It might not be too bad. I don't think it's going to be too bad. Maybe there'll be a few power outages, but it's not going to be as bad as Storm A1, isn't it? Exactly. I know, actually, funny enough, I never was in Galway, so shoot me. I still have to go to the Aran Islands. I have the Aran Islands on my list at some point to go to the Aran Islands and go to Galway and stuff. Yeah, it's insane. It just feels like going back to May. Like it doesn't feel that long ago since I was in Finland, pretty much. And that was in May, so it feels like only a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago at most. That was in Finland, and it's insane. 34 years married today. Well, congratulations. Great milestone. These will be going out for a big dinner. Summer is pretty much over, yeah. Like, it's pretty much over. Like, as soon as you get within into August, the evenings get shorter and shorter. Um, so you see, like, a shortening in the evenings for the next few weeks. Ever so slightly, and then it'll be totally gone. But I suppose we had a good summer on it. And watching film, very good, very fancy. Just the chill, day. Because you often see people, and not just speaking in general, but you often see people literally go wild, like for the wedding anniversary. They quite literally go wild. Yeah, like I haven't been to Galway. I have to get to Galway at some point. But the only problem is, I said this before, I would go around the whole country of Ireland. But the fact of the matter is, you have to hop on buses, and buses are a nuisance compared to just getting on a train and going to the place. You know, it's a nuisance. Like, it is really, really a nuisance. Because for a lot of the country I want to go to, you have to literally, fuck onto buses and stuff like that. Excuse my language, but it's a lot more handier. Like, just take for example, when I was in Helsinki going up the Chapel, you just hop on a train and then you're there. You get what I'm saying? It's more handier than getting this bus and going on that bus. Only for that to be going around the country. Who are the Cliffs of Moher? Is that what you're talking about, Sean? Yeah, but that's not unusual. Because the amount of people that die a year falling off the Cliffs of Moher, just because, again, a lot of people are trying to take photos and stuff, and they don't realize they're near the edge. Because it's all about that Instagram photo. Like, you do have to be. Apparently, he survived. I don't know. I don't think he would survive. Not many people would survive. Because down at the bottom of the Cliffs of Moher, there's literally like very sharp rocks, like really, really sharp rocks. Yeah, but you know yourself, people go mad to try and take the photos. I seen it when I was in Finland myself too. There was one of the towers on, hit the water. Well, yeah, he's very lucky then. But even that, the fall will nearly kill yourself. Like the fall, just the shock of it, I suppose, would nearly kill a lot of people too. Like a lot of people take a heart attack over it. If that makes any sense, because the shock alone will kill you. Like literally falling into the water, like a good few feet. God knows how much feet, like from the cliff down. Yeah, the UK government, yeah, in 1984, quite literally. Slip and fell, yeah. Like, that's why I wouldn't go up closer to the cliffs. I kind of stay a good bit back. I wouldn't really go too close to it. Let me see, where is the other stuff I was going to talk about? But it's good, I suppose, that the person did survive. Yeah, the online, just speaking about the UK, the online safety bill. My opinion is, I'd make a video at some point talking about it. It's the same the Australian government are doing. It's funny how every government in the world is suddenly wanting to protect children's rights and stuff like that. We see it in Australia and other countries too. They're trying to do it all at the one time. Now, I don't mind the porn websites, Pornhub, and other websites that are like quite literally porn websites. The children shouldn't be on it. Like obviously, probably in my opinion, you should have to show ID before you get into them websites. I think that goes without saying. But for only use of the internet, in terms of even just going on Spotify, like they want your ID to go on Spotify for music, or YouTube and stuff like that. Fair enough, but you shouldn't be looking for people's ID. Like, what are they going to do? Like again, at the same time too, it's all but just kind of want to know who you are so they can come after you if you commit talk crime. And VPNs too. Yeah, the countries that have banned VPN is Russia, China. Yeah, dictatorships have banned VPNs and stuff, and the UK wants to do it too. So and they talk about Russia being this bad entity and stuff like that. Like UK is nearly turned into Russia. Yeah, grab onto the grass. Yeah, like it's ground edges. I wouldn't go and take a selfie to the cliffs more. I'd rather stay away. Dressing there, you'd be mad to go up and walk along the cliffs of Moher with literally stuff. I am on Discord, but I don't use it. It's literally abandoned now, threads. But how are you doing anyway? Like literally, the Discord thing has just been abandoned. Yeah, going after anyone that talks negative in my It's not even that alone. If you commit talk crime itself against the Labour government and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Taking talk crime, but that's why they want your information, like your ID. Let's say if we step onto YouTube and Spotify. So if you commit talk crime, they'll be able to come after you. Um, but I don't mind. Again, this is the thing for the porn websites. Websites that actually have porn on them to stop children getting onto them. I don't mind that so much that you have to give your ID. But for everything else, I don't agree with it. Just to use the only internet and stuff, and obviously gambling websites too. I do think you should probably have ID, just to stop children, getting on it. If that makes any sense. If we were going to protect children, that's what we should be doing. But Australia's doing it for YouTube. Take this example. Every child now can't go on YouTube until they're 18 now in Australia. Yeah, with Donald Trump, I'm not that fond of Donald Trump at the moment, to be totally honest. Because the Epstein files still haven't been released. And not to mention, too, I'm not that happy with, and I'm not an American citizen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I'm an American citizen, I'm entitled to blast Donald Trump over this. But I don't agree with Donald Trump tearing up the Rose Garden in the White House to build a ballroom, for balls and stuff. I'm not an American taxpayer, but I'm just giving my opinion. I don't think they should be going and literally tearing down a bit of history to build a ball gallery. I don't agree with that, but I'm not an American, as I say, because this is a historical building, like it is a historical structure. I don't think they should. But yeah, the online safety bill, just the last thing I say about it, it probably won't be around for much longer, that because there's that much opposition to it. I say they probably have to change it, Yeah, and along with that too. But they will have to change it eventually, because there's that much outcry about it, and they kind of have to, especially because it's pretty much given Reform UK. Like it's given Nigel Farage and the Reform UK literally a free goal, pretty much what I'm trying to say. Because they could be literally like, oh, the government wants to know what's to be the top police. And literally everybody agrees with that. That literally that's what they're trying to do, be the top police. So it's pretty much giving Reform UK a free opportunity to be in the government of the next government. Because the Conservative Party's finished and done with. The Labour Party's pretty much done with too. There's not really much left of it. So we see what happens. Yeah, Candace Owens getting sued by Macron. Now, I'm not going to comment on that because that's a whole other can of worms opening them statements. But you think Macron would have more things to worry about. That's the only thing I say about it. You think Macron would be worried about looking after France instead of, let's go and sue Candace Owens because she said this on the internet, It's a bit stupid in a way too. If you were a world leader, you think you would have better things to worry about than somebody calling your wife a man. Like, let's be fair. If you were one in the country, you think you would not give a shit about that kind of thing. Like, you think you'd be more worried about, let's sort out the homeless, let's sort out the migrant situation in France, let's sort out people not feeling safe in France, stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. Again, that's just my view on it. Because if I was in Macron's situation, why would I care? If somebody said this on the internet about my wife, like, let's be fair. Because you literally have other problems than worrying about what somebody said on the internet about your wife. Like, literally, France is not in a great situation at the moment. Um, if that makes any sense. You think you've been worried about the situation in the country than worry about what somebody says about your wife. I wouldn't say France is a dictatorship. I'd more say the United Kingdom is, but not so much France, not yet. But it's getting that way. Not as bad as some other countries. Like, just going back to Australia, yeah, the Australian government, what to do these kind of things is insane. In terms of banning young people on YouTube and stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some content on YouTube that's not good for kids. Nobody can argue with that. But saying that everybody must show their IDs and stuff, as Sean just mentioned earlier on, it's about digital IDs. That's what they want to do. That you have a digital ID and the government can tell you when you're allowed to go onto the internet on certain times and stuff. That's pretty much what they're trying to do, in a way, if you committed good crimes. What I mean by that is, if you're pro-government, we let you onto the internet. But if you're anti-government, we're going to destroy you. You're not allowed to use your social media. We're going to ban you from the internet. You know, it's a bit 1984, if you ask me. But it's considering people are paying for the internet. Now, don't get me wrong, there's bad things on the internet. I'm not going to sit here and say everything's great and stuff on the internet. That's not the case. But see, this is the thing. Trying to police the internet never works, regardless of what country's trying to do it. It just doesn't work. Like, you're more worried about policing thought crime than you're actually fighting real crime. Like, in England, there's huge crime with knife crime, and the police are more worried about what you're thinking, than worrying about enforcing, stop people being stabbed with knives and stuff. You think that would be the main priority of the police? Let's worry about people getting killed on the streets than somebody misgendered somebody online. Yes, Mr. Boss. That's the reason why. Just the kind of shits and giggles, over that. That's pretty much the only reason why. Fuck the world, whoever he is. Yes, that too. Yeah, like there's oftentimes on YouTube, when I'm watching videos, like murder mysteries and stuff like that. They ask you for your identification, your identity card, or your passport, your bank card, or some kind of ID. I never give it to them, because why would you trust YouTube with your ID? First of all, even though, again, quite literally, I'm not like an anonymous face, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm a poet. Like, I'm actually, they can find out who I am pretty quickly. Like, all my information's out there pretty much. My name and stuff like that, and all that. That YouTube can find it out very quickly if they wanted to. The same with the Irish government. I'm literally work for the Irish state in terms of as a civil servant, not an agent of the Irish state. I don't work as an agent of them. But if that makes any sense, like, the Irish state can find out who I am very quickly. Well, they already know who I am, but that's what I'm trying to say. All my information's out there, but still, at the same time, I won't give it to YouTube. My passport and stuff, because why should I? Yeah, freedom of the city of Dublin, yes, and he's coming to Ireland at some point too. We were just talking about that. You had to pay €2,000 to go and get a photo with Obama, which is insane. Yeah, at the same time too, this is the thing, as you just said, Brian, everybody's on about GDPR and stuff like that. Oh, it has to be GDPR. Like, when I was going to Finland that time, back in May, I didn't sort it out, like the travel insurance. I always get travel insurance, but I let my mother sort it out. And I was thinking they would let my mother sort it out and stuff for me and for her, save me having to sort it out. But they wouldn't. They took the money from her, like for her, but they didn't take it from me because they wanted me to do it because of GDPR. Yeah, and that was their excuse. So I had to ring them up and do my bit of the travel insurance, which is stupid. Considering it's not like a random person, it's literally my mother that done it. But when I went in May, if that makes any sense, it was very stupid. Um, very stupid in a way. Consider I got them I got them before. You know, it wasn't like I was a new customer and stuff with them. Which is really, really stupid if you ask me. And it's all GDPR. That's what I was saying. Protect your privacy and stuff like that. And then the next day they turn around. Oh, the government wants to know what you're doing. You know. So we go on to speaking with Donald Trump earlier on. So the European Union and the United States of America have come up with a trade agreement, I suppose, at the moment. And that's to do with the tariffs. Donald Trump was threatening 30% tariffs in the European Union, including Ireland. So it's going to be 25% tariff now, which is a lot. Well, not 25, sorry, 15% tariff. I'm getting confused. There's that much talk about tariffs. You lose the mind over it. But he's talking about 15% tariffs on pretty much nearly everything, apart from a few exceptions here and there. But we see how that works. It's going to be difficult here, particularly in Cavan, because the reason why you can literally go 5 minutes down the road to Northern Ireland, and it's only a 10% tariff, and then the Republic of Ireland it's a 15% tariff. So it's going to be a nightmare to try and work that out. Not to mention, it's not really a good deal for Ireland. Like it doesn't hurt the Irish economy too badly, but still, it kind of hurts us a bit in a way because it's more for the Germans and the French, not more for the smaller European countries, which is not great, of course. Um, it's not great at all. But I suppose it is better than 30% because 30% would have been pretty bad for the Irish economy and for Europe in general too. So it's good that they kind of got some kind of agreement. We see what happens, I suppose, because there's that much talk. Every 5 minutes there's talk about tariffs and this and that, and you get mixed up with it all. But there's not much light. Thought it would be a bit more like it's not that bright. I'm just looking; it's not that bright. It should be a bit more brighter though, I suppose. I should nearly turn on the light. It's not that. Because I suppose we are coming up to 6 o'clock. It's not as bright as it was in the evenings. So just to say, but you were talking about tourism and stuff, going to Madrid and stuff. There's not many tourists coming here now, shocker. But there isn't that many tourists coming here. Like the latest report says, there's less tourists coming out than ever, like from international. So obviously, there's 100 million reasons why. First of all, the price. Not to mention too, the country is not safe. To be totally honest, to be a tourist in. Yeah, I never had the privilege to go to the island. Yeah, imagine saying that, but it's all very sus. Yeah, and also Serbia. Just speaking with Serbia, they seem to be wanting to follow everybody else at the moment. They wanted so many hundreds of thousands of what was it? Some African country, I know, of workers and stuff. God knows why, but they want them anyway. Um, yeah, and then obviously too, Jeffrey Epstein's, I suppose, girlfriend. the Maxwell. What do we got? What I can never pronounce the first name. Geraldine Maxwell. Yeah. Donald Trump called her a fine woman. That's what he called her one time too. Literally, woman that literally trafficked kids, pretty much. Let's call it what it is. Yeah, but Donald Trump called her a mighty fine woman. It's something like that. Like literally. No, don't give her a pardon. Jesus, but that's what he probably will do. He's probably going to give her a pardon. But obviously, everybody's going to lose their mind if that happens, and rightly so, because she probably should never be coming out of prison again. But she's been moved to a lesser secure prison than before, so they might just do what they did with Jeffrey, and cause some other trouble. What is this now? Yeah, she could do it too, but we see what happens. But I don't hold high hopes that Donald Trump will do what he said. What else? Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be Tommy Robinson hit somebody or something like that. But I couldn't care less about Tommy Robinson, to be honest. I couldn't care less about him. It's not an Irish concern, that's what I would tell you. So going over to the Middle East, someplace America loves going to. So as you know, innocent children are still being bombed to oblivion. It's something like 60,000 or something like that amount of people who have died in Gaza since the beginning of the war in the Middle East. So for 2 years going nearly at this stage. Hello, Gordon. And still nothing has been done by any country. We haven't done anything to hurt Israel from their genocidal, like literally starving people to death. Like, let's call it what it is. It's quite literally starving people to death. That's what Israel's trying to do. And of course, they're trying to ethnically cleanse in terms of moving the Palestinian people from their land and giving it to the United States or Israel. They pretty much said it in the White House what their plan was to do, which is obviously crimes against humanity. Let's be fair. And to be totally honest, in general, it's crimes against humanity what's happening there. And the United States is still funding them, of course, and all that. There's still no word about the occupied territories bill here. What's going to happen there? But obviously, that Israel is going to lose their shit when that comes forward. But yeah, the other thing I'm disposing the Palestinian is France and Canada and the UK are going to recognise the Palestinian state, which is all well and good. But at the same time, too, I think we need action in terms of stopping this conflict, in terms of heavy tariffs on Israel from the European Union, from the United Kingdom. So if I think recognising states and stuff, I think we're long past that. I think heavy tariffs. It's the only way to really stop Israel from what they're doing. Considering Ireland is the second trading partner of Israel. Obviously, the United States won't be too happy, but the United States should be doing a bit more as the world police. As the United States been the world police, you think they would probably try and stop what's happening. Um, yeah, without doing anything, that's quite literally what's happening. But that's all well and good. But Israel won't stop what they're doing, like bombing children and stuff and starving people. They won't do that. Obviously, they're very upset over countries doing it. But still, at the same time, it won't stop them from doing it. Like, it won't stop them from dropping bombs on people and stuff, and starving kids and stuff. They won't do it. So the only way to do it is by tariffs and blocking, as the Irish government are going to do eventually, whenever they get around to it, is the Occupied Territories Bill, which pretty much stops trade with Israel, pretty much, which they should do, of course. They should have done this long ago. They're just the only reason why they didn't do it is they're too afraid of the United States retaliating with tariffs and all and stuff. It's cooling down, yeah. It's a bit cloudy here, as you can see. It's not as bright as it was before. But just speaking about the recognising Palestine and stuff. So obviously in Finland at the moment, I spoke about when I was over there in May, that literally everybody wants the Finnish government to at least recognise the Palestinian state. And obviously there's literally ructions at the moment, I suppose, in Finland. Because the president, Alexander Stubbs, now obviously the way the Finnish presidency works and the Finnish constitution, the president has the final say on recognizing states and stuff and foreign policy. The president of the Republic of Finland has the final say. In Ireland, that's not the case, but that's in the Finnish constitution. So President Stubbs pretty much said he wants to recognize Palestine soon enough. The Finnish government, the prime minister, the cabinet, I suppose you would call it, the True Finns, the week out, so and are very upset, and they're throwing the toys and the pram out of the gate, I suppose. So they're all kind of bitching and moaning, and everybody's sick of it. I put up the response to the Prime Minister of Finland because it's weak as fuck. Like, that's what that is. One of the most weakest statements I've ever seen from a Prime Minister. I'm not even going to go through it here because it's a joke. Hello, Tony. How are you doing? But yeah, it's quite literally a joke because the True Finns and the Christian Democrats are blocking the Finland recognizing the Palestinian state. Because pretty much the Finns party are pretty much funded by Israel. Like, let's be fair, they might as well be funded at this stage by Israel, because that's the only people must be giving them money. Because there's literally no only Finnish person saying I'm going to give money to the True Finns. So definitely they're getting money from Israel, the True Finns. There's no doubt in my mind about that, because that's the only people that's nearly funding them. And obviously because empathy doesn't belong in politics, as Rika famously said. So they literally have no empathy for children being blown to bits and stuff. So, True Finns in a nutshell. But yeah. But it's really stupid to see the argument, I suppose. This is what I'm talking about. It is stupid to see the argument that's coming out from the True Finns at the moment. That Sanna Marin, when she was the Prime Minister, should have recognised Palestine 4 years ago. Nearly 2 years ago. But a lot has changed in 2 years, as you know. There wasn't a war in the Middle East. Like, Israel wasn't bombing children and stuff. A lot has changed. A lot has changed in 2 years. So they're kind of throwing out the excuse, Sanna Marin should have done it. But literally nothing was happening when Sanna Marin was Prime Minister at that time. So why would she have done it if there was no, what's happening now, I suppose. Let's put it that way. Considering they should do it now when literally things are happening, children being killed and stuff. Excuses are insane. Like, the excuses they're throwing out are just fucking ludicrous. Like, everybody's calling it ludicrous. But that's only half. We're not even going to go with the next bit of it. But yeah. So we see what happens there. But it's shit show. Oh, of course, like, don't get me wrong. We talk about Private Sean Mooney, actually. We have still to talk about that. But don't get me wrong, Sean. Hamas are not people to be buddy with, I suppose. Let's put it that way. The same with Hezbollah, the evil people, they killed innocent civilians. Now, don't get me wrong, but Israel is doing worse. I'm sure you would agree. Like literally starving people to death and stuff. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should all come out and jump around about Hamas and stuff, because they've done evil stuff too. Like let's not beat around the bush. They killed one of our men. They killed one of our people. Well, pretty much, if you look at the Gaza Strip and stuff, Sean, like it's pretty much demolished. Like I don't know if there's any of them left, because it's pretty much just demolished into the ground. But they've done what they needed to do, I suppose, Israel, in terms of, because they pretty much have destroyed them in a way. Maybe ask me, because there's not really much left they can do to fight it, if that makes any sense. Oh, I know, but still at the same time, there's a lot of suffering. And we can't just ignore it, I suppose. So that makes sense. Like you often hear me, I often speak a lot about Ireland and stuff. But there's a lot of suffering. There's really, really a lot of suffering. And I know it's not Ireland's duty to be the world police and stuff, but you get what I'm saying, there's a lot of suffering. And we don't want to see innocent children get killed. We don't want to see that. That's, I suppose, my point, especially because we say we are a Christian country and stuff. Like Christians, we can't just let evil persist, if that makes any sense. If that makes sense, I know that sounds my side naive and stuff, but you kind of have to do this. Christians is supposed to kind of speak the truth and speak, as it says in the Bible, thou shalt not kill. And particularly innocents, innocent people that have nothing to do with the conflict. You get what I'm saying. But the thing about it is the Palestinian people, it's the women and children. It's not that I'm worried about Hamas or Hezbollah. I don't give a damn about them, Hezbollah or Hamas. It's the innocent women and children. That's who I'm worried about. Because I see it all the time on Twitter. Innocent children being blown to bits. Like you can't really ignore that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there's videos I've seen it's probably scoured me, to be told. It's still in my head, a lot of them. That were on Twitter and stuff, of innocent children just being massacred, like half of their bodies missing and stuff from bombshells and stuff. Like you can't really ignore that. That's the thing. You can't really detach yourself that much from reality when you see that kind of stuff. If that makes it, I'm not that. You get what I'm saying. When you see that kind of stuff, you kind of have to say something. If that, I'm sure people get what I'm saying. It's just that, I don't think anybody wants to see anybody suffer, particularly innocent people. That's just my view. I'm not saying people, but I'm sure everybody would agree that there's too much slaughter. There's too much people being killed. I think anybody would agree with that. But yeah, just going back to Private Sean Rooney. So there was a trial held in Lebanon. His killer and stuff is still at large, which is insane to think that the Lebanese authorities didn't go out and get this person and keep him in jail. But anyway, they give them a death sentence, the person that killed Private Sean Rooney. But the fellow, God only knows where he is. He could be in Ireland for we know, the fellow who killed him. That's supposed to be literally, in the gates of hell, I suppose, at the moment. So they don't have the suspect to kill him. And the people who were involved in the shooting too, of Private Sean Rooney, they pretty much got light sentences, a few years in prison here and there. They all should be probably going to meet their maker, to be totally honest. And the Lebanese authorities should have had this person in custody from day one. Because they all should probably be gone at this stage to meet their maker. Pretty much, it's not satisfaction at all that the Lebanese authorities pretty much have let them off it in the nicest possible terms to pretty much have a young man killed. And again, this is Hezbollah, just to say too, that killed him, the members of Hezbollah. Killed a peacekeeper, like a young lad with his whole life ahead of him, that wasn't there to occupy their land, was there to preserve peace, to try and make the world a better place. Um, and the Lebanese authorities, you think they would be wanting to hang these people straight away for their crimes. Um, but yeah, it's the same, and especially because the Irish government should be pretty much in this stage putting sanctions on Lebanon for the inability to get these people and to bring them to justice. Um, so we should be obviously sanctioning Lebanon, the Vittorianze, very hard. I need at this stage to say, um, we should be doing more to try and make them do something, I suppose, in a way. Um, because Simon Howard's just saying a few words and stuff is not going to do anything, unfortunately. Um, um, but it's not that I'm saying I'm a Christian. I'm amazing Christian or something like that. But I'm just saying you kind of have to say something when evil happens. You have to kind of do it. Like evil wins when good stays silent. If that makes any sense. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, my thing's fixed. That's a good question. We might do a Mafia. Mafia's coming out next week. We might play a game with that. We might play an hour or so with that, maybe. We'll see how we get on. Yeah, we might do something to that. We'll see how we go on. Just maybe a bit of dirt or something on the camera. Who's the goal? I was just about to go on about that. Yeah. So Sydney, what's up? Sweeney. So there's basically a company in the United States. There's those jeans and stuff like that. They had her for like display their clothing and stuff like that. And everybody's pretty much losing their mind over it. Particularly the woke people, the people that don't know what a woman is, they're very upset. Because nowadays, you see models, it's all about diversity and inclusion and stuff. So they have people literally overweight on magazines for supposed to be hot women and stuff on it. Like years ago, you often would see them in supermarkets, hot women with bikinis and stuff like that. Nowadays, it's all big fat people that, and nothing against them, but that's what's on beauty magazines now, the big fat people that are diversity hires and stuff. So, yeah, everybody's losing their mind over some woman that's actually some way attractive. Being put on a magazine, like being put on an advertisement, like they're losing their mind over it. And I mean the woke, the left. So, but I like the response from the company. I like the response of the company because the company didn't bow to the angry mob. They actually doubled down and said, "Yes, this is a great." That's pretty much their response. So, in fairness, they didn't bow to the angry mob. They said, "We're going to, double down and say this is great and stuff like that," which is good to see a company because usually companies stay forward and stuff like that. So it's great to see. It just goes to show you the woke is not doing too well. Oh yeah, no, there wasn't any reason. Like literally, she was only literally promoting like jeans and stuff like that. Like, let's be fair, it wasn't. It wasn't like she's won for president or something like that. Like it was an overreaction. Like at the end of the day, they didn't have to look at it. Like if they see it, they can ignore it. Like it's not that big of a thing. It'd be different if you just won for the presidency. Fair enough. You'd be angry over that or something like that. But fair, like come on now, Dylan Mulvaney, oh God bless us and save us. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would put Dylan Mulvaney on the front of a magazine. You know. But yeah, so it's good to see that woke can get its way. Was about the slogan. No, I think no, it wasn't really the slogan. Not really the slogan. I think it was just that it was a white woman on the front of a magazine. I think that's probably the only thing it was on the front of a. I don't think it was the slogan. Really. Because the main thing I seen on social media and stuff, people that weren't happy about it, were a good few black women just not being happy that it wasn't the diversity hire. That's what I see in the majority there. That she was a white woman. There wasn't a diversity hire, and stuff like that. That's what I've pretty much seen. Because I've seen videos and stuff on Twitter of literally women, not even some even white women and stuff with purple hair and stuff like that, saying, "Oh, this is a disgrace" and stuff like that. They should have a transgender woman or something on it. That's what they're saying. Like, this is not inclusive. That's like this is literally what they're arguing about, not the slogan. I think they're more worried about it's a white woman, and it's some way attractive. And that's what they're upset about. That seems to be what they're saying. Because that seems to be the majority of it. It's like, I don't know. I think maybe people are winning if that's what people are giving out. But the majority of people I've seen backlash and they get, so they're more worried about it's not at the diversity higher and stuff. That's what I more or less seen. I get what you're saying if that's the case, but I don't think so. I think the people are more worried about it's a white woman that's some way attractive. As I said, it's all about diversity hires nowadays, and it's all about inclusion and diversity and stuff like that. If that makes any sense. That's what I've seen on Twitter. Because there's videos of people literally losing their mind over it. Literally over a woman wearing jeans. They're literally losing their mind, some people over it. I don't know. I would date whoever. Like if I thought somebody was a good person, I would date them. I wouldn't go by the looks. It depends on who they are. If that makes any sense. Are they a good person? Do they have a good soul and stuff? That's the thing about this. I wouldn't just go like, oh yeah, this person because they're certain, this person because they're Asian and something like that. It's if I think they're a good person, that's the main thing for me. It's not so much about the looks and stuff. If they're a good, decent person, that's the way I see it. If that makes any sense, I don't even know what that is, Gordon. Yeah, well, people do look into it too much. Like people see, like literally this stage, it's people that literally see Nazis at every turn and every twist. Like literally, people see like Nazis everywhere. There's some people literally do everything they see is Nazi. It's insane. Yeah, of course, Finnish preference. um, but you get me saying there's such thing as people that are out Nazis. Don't get me wrong. There's people literally you know, who want that kind of stuff and stuff. There's people like that. Don't get me wrong. There's people that exist, but literally not everybody's literally a Nazi. Like there were some people on Twitter I see it all the time. Like everybody's a Nazi. If you disagree with them, you're a Nazi. Like it's insane. Like if you just disagree on ice cream, they'll call you a Nazi. Like it's insane. Yeah, I don't know about the quote. It's more like, do you get what I'm saying, Brian? I didn't see so much given out about the quote. If that makes any sense. Um, there's people more giving out about it as a white woman. That's what I see more. You know. So then, suppose the next thing we talk about is Conor McGregor. Now, there's not really a hope in hell, just to say. If there was no hope before, there's no hope of him ever winning for the presidency. There's just no way. He's not going to get the support, regardless of what he does. So Conor McGregor, as we know, was in the legal battle, and still is in the legal battle too. They want to... he was going to bring forward new evidence, and then he pulled it out the last minute. Now the woman that he pretty much assaulted with is going to sue him, and it's going to sue the two people that were supposed to be witnesses. But again, this is the thing, and I don't really trust Conor McGregor. I know I never really trust him. It was always a bit like he never came out and outright supported him. He's right in what he said over the White House. Don't get me wrong, but I never really liked him, to be totally honest. And I said that before. Yeah, he's more like, especially because, again, if you see his latest video on Twitter, he's flexing off his Rolex and stuff like that. And I don't want that as a person of Ireland. You have to be for the working class, the working person. Not so much just flexing your watches and stuff. That's what the true Finns are doing. More worried about the 1%, Yeah, he is a bit of a loudmouth. Don't get me wrong on that too. But I think that he did do what he done to the woman. I do think so. Because if he had the evidence, this is the thing, and this is the thing I keep saying. If he had the evidence to suggest that her boyfriend done it, he would have brought it forward. He wouldn't. Why did he bring it up to court and said? And then 10 minutes before it was supposed to be presented to the court, he pulled it out, the evidence, the new evidence he had and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they didn't, like, Conor McGregor pulled it out himself. Like, the judge literally let him, but he pulled it out the last minute. You know yourself, to show this new evidence and stuff. He didn't show it. That's what I'm saying. It'd be different if he showed it, then people can make up their own mind. Like these people swear on an oath that they seen her boyfriend hit him. Then the Irish public can make up their mind. But it's the fact of the matter, he was being sly, and he pulled it out before anybody can. Yeah, this is what it gets. So I get what you're saying. But the evidence does suggest, because particularly, as I say there, the evidence pretty much says it. When you literally, if I had evidence to say that I wasn't guilty of a crime, I would present it. Why would you pull it out the last minute instead of presenting it? Why would you do it? That's what I'm saying. But also we have the things from from our doctor and stuff about the bruising and stuff. No bother if you want to talk to you later. You get what I'm saying. And not to mention too, his ties to Israel, Conor McGregor. So not likely I'd be voting for somebody that's literally another Donald Trump. But what I'm trying to say, Brian, too, if you take into account too that he's not a saint. He's hurt people before. He's punched people in the face before. And I know you say that's a different thing than doing this. But he is, in my mind, he is capable, because I don't think he takes too much of women. And I do think that too, that he doesn't take much of women. He takes of them as just objects. That's what I see, really, too. There's nothing really to say that he doesn't, because I think he probably does only take the objects. I don't even know what to say to Tony's comment there. I don't know what to tell you about that one. That's a bit too much. A bit too much in that one. Yeah, I don't get that one either. But I suppose he probably done it because I don't. It's hard to know, but I do think he did it. But because why would he not show the evidence? That's what I'm saying. It makes him more guilty than he was before. And because too, he isn't like I don't think he he thinks he can abuse women too, I suppose too. Right. Um, so if you add all that up in my mind, because I kept an open mind for a lot of it, but it's only too recently to that happened that I wasn't happy with that. But literally, people defended him from the start, like as soon as it came up that he was innocent and stuff, without hearing all the evidence and etc. But even even as I said before, half the things he's saying about for the presidency, he can't do. He simply can't do half the things he's talking about doing. He simply can't. It's not in the Constitution. The Constitution said it very clearly that you can't do it. Half the stuff. I'm not even going to get into half the stuff he said because it's far too much. Yeah, but it's good for your bones and stuff. Um, yeah, but I still think that he did wrong. To be totally honest, I don't really think I'm going to change that view. To be totally honest, I don't think it will because you know, like in my mind, as I said, I just kind of justified everything. It's not like I just said I don't like Conor McGregor, and I think he did it because when you add up all that I added up in my mind, what I just said there, I kind of get my conclusion. Is it been confirmed, Sean, that he is? Oh, the latest poll from Doyle Ewan. Sinn Féin's on 30%, Fine Gael's on 30%, Fianna Fáil's on 30%. God help us all. Yeah, so pretty much the main three political parties, on the same percentage. Give me a moment. I haven't actually seen that, so give me a moment, Sean. Because if so, that's big news. But yeah, that's just the latest poll from Doyle Ewan. That's big news if that's the case. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but in my mind, I do think he done it. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it would be, but I'm just making sure that it's 100% confirmed, because we all knew it. I said it to you many times, but you seem to be right. Yeah, apparently having emojis is before the Fianna Fáil candidate, and now it's where its poll shows. Oh no, this is only a poll now. It's not confirmed. It's only a poll between the Fianna Fáilers. Yeah, but there's no video evidence. But no, I do think he done something now, Sean. That's what I'm thinking. Because let's be fair, like he did. He's not like a sage. Yeah, none of us are saints, but I do think he did it. But no, but the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, and I said it earlier on, you probably will hear at the time, Sean. It's the fact of the matter he had new evidence, to say that, that the neighbour seen her boyfriend hit him. But they took that out at the last minute. He didn't present it to the court, if that makes any sense. But again, I'm not a judge or a jury, but I'm just saying what I see, what I think, I suppose. But still, at the same time, just to say, um, I probably wouldn't vote for him as president because you can pretty much do nothing as president, so it wouldn't make any difference in the criminal code. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a true statement. But I do think he done something. Like I don't think he did nothing. If that makes sense, it's not like just some random. Oh, well, yes, because you've seen yourself. He punched a man, an elderly man, one time in the pub, and then he hit somebody. He hit two people now in a few weeks ago. So he doesn't have control of his emotions. He doesn't have control of his actions, pretty much. What I'm trying to say. Uh, yeah, and then he threw things to the bus. Yeah, it's not a great look uh, for a president. You know, he's get one couple. It's not like I'm just like, yeah, I just don't like him because why not? You know, like I do think about these things. I haven't come out like I never talked about it when it was first talked about. It's only up until now when I see what happened. Why did they delete? That's another good question. Yeah, but still, at the same time, why did he not present the evidence? That's what I would love to know why he didn't do it. Um, that the neighbors seen him. That's a really convinced me. I suppose that makes any sense. You're right in saying about the security. But don't get me wrong. But particularly what he done. It doesn't convince me either. If that makes any sense. But still, I don't. I think this is all kind of going past the point. That Conor McGregor won't get the support of any TDs or senators to one for to one for House and Luke to one. There's not a hope in hell he get the support of it. Even if beforehand he wouldn't get it. Hello, Miss Fair. How are you doing? Um, but yeah, so we might leave it there for tonight. We went through a good bit. Is there anything else anybody want to say or any other things? Sugar. Yeah, late. I know, but usually this would be the time we'd be going live at 6:30. But yeah, is there anything anybody want to say? Because again, there's probably many other things I didn't address tonight. Piano. Who's that transition tomorrow? Well, no, I don't know what to tell you about that one, but I don't think I will, to be totally honest. Buying taking outside the box. My clothes are all over the place. Yeah, sometimes it's large and sometimes it's medium. Like some of them are large, some of them are medium. It's usually around that. Um, like some are medium, some are not. I think this is might be medium. It could be large. I don't know actually. It's on the back of it. There's not even actually a tag in this short. So, um, but usually that's what it is. Um, yeah, like the sizes are different in Finland too. Like they're not like medium and large and stuff. There's other kind of things too. Yeah, I'm sure we can all guess what you're going to say, Gordon. But go ahead. in the size. Some of them can shrink. Like when you put them into the washing machine, a lot of them do shrink too a bit. The more you wash them, the more they shrink, in my opinion. Oh, I know. I said we probably all know what Gordon's going to say anyway, Tony. Who, me? No, I'm not in a moody mood. I was just saying that I already seen it. Anyway, I think that's good enough for tonight. PS1. We're going back in time. Yeah, we probably have videos up the next few days. It was meant to be videos out the last few days. They are recorded. Don't get me wrong, they are recorded, but I didn't upload them. So I think that's good. So yeah, thank you everyone. Again, apologies for not being live Wednesday. We'll probably be live this Wednesday. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we should be. Doesn't seem to. I can't think of anything that's coming up Wednesday. So yeah, everyone, thank you everyone. Appreciate it. We'll be back. Well, there'll be probably videos up the next few days, and we might be back hopefully Wednesday. If not, then Saturday. So yeah, thank you everyone. Appreciate it. Enjoy your bike holiday. You have a sleep in on Monday too. I do too. So yeah, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night and your rest of your bank holiday evening. Bank holiday weekend, excuse me. And yeah, good night.